to computer. Right, hey guys, right, hi, huge welcome to our networking bootcamp run by the Allwoods. You've got the Allwoods tonight. It feels weird saying that because it's normally when people talk about the Allwoods, they're normally talking about our husbands. But you've got both of us. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Lisa Allwood. And for those of you that don't know Tanya, this is my sister-in-law, Tanya Allwood. And we are literally going to talk to you about networking. So how this is going to work is we have planned to do this over 3 nights. It's not just going to be a one-nighter, and we decided to do this literally night after night after night rather than have like weeks apart. So hopefully this will give you the buzz. So literally tonight, tomorrow and Thursday we're going to be here at 8:30. Hopefully you'll be able to join us. How it's going to work is tonight we're going to talk about what networking is, how we network, what networking is, sort of the pros and cons, the ways to go about it, the things not to do. And then tomorrow we're going to get into the real nitty-gritty of the practical things that you can go and do that are going to really work for your Scentsy business. And then the last night we're going to have, you've got Laura Sawkins, Laura Bynes, Claire Watson, myself, Anton, giving you literally our 5 top tips of how we network within our business. Tan and I probably would have covered this with you, but we'll just go over it again. You're going to hear it more than once. So, and I'm hoping that what you're going to hear is the same sort of things over and over again. So you're going to realize actually it's very simple and it's not complicated, and it doesn't need to be complicated. So I'm going to hand straight over to Tan. She's going to kick off tonight, and I'm going to mute myself. So use the chat, guys. If you've got any questions, I'll try and answer as we go. And I know Tan will answer as well, I'm sure, at some point as well. So over to you, lovely.
Thanks, Lise. Okay, so first of all, I just want to say I've got 4 children and I'm all open plan, so anything can happen in the background, by the way. So whatever goes on, I apologise. But I just wanted to get that out there before anything kicks off in the background. So for those of you who don't know me, my name's Tanya Allwood. I am Superstar Director for T-Force. I joined Scentsy nearly 3 years ago, so next month I've been doing Scentsy for 3 years. My journey happened quite quickly, and I've loved every single minute of it. Lisa is obviously, as she said, my sister-in-law, and Lisa obviously introduced me to Scentsy, and love it. So the main reason Lisa and I wanted to come on and talk to you guys about how to network. We've had a few conversations on the phone over the last few months, and any kind of issues or things that our teams were coming up against, we kind of were both coming across it from both of our teams, and it kind of, we felt, came down to people struggling with how to maybe network. And it's not something, networking isn't something that we're taught. It's not something that you learn in school. It's not something that people just know how to do. Whatever job you go to do, whether it's working in an office or whatever it is that you're going to do, you have to learn somewhere along the line. So doing network marketing, if you're going to make it a job, or if you want to make something from it, you also have to learn stuff. And don't get me wrong, Lisa and I certainly have not got it down to a T. There's loads we are learning on the job every day, don't we, Lisa? Every day there's something that we are learning all the time. So we certainly don't know everything, but we do try to go away and learn stuff so that we can give that to you guys as well. Obviously, not being taught network marketing is a big thing, to go away and listen to things on YouTube and try and sort of teach yourself how to network market. Now, one of the main things that I think to start off with in network marketing, you guys can do this whether you're new, whether you've been doing it for a long time, or whatever, but goals is one of the big things. So most of you guys that have logged on here tonight, I believe, have got some type of goal within Scentsy. Whether you feel like it's small, whether you feel like it's big, goals is a really, really important part of your journey, because without goals, what are you aiming for? I feel like everybody that's logged onto here, you have got some type of goal, because I feel like people that do show up to training have those kind of things. So goals is a really, really important part, because without your goals, no, sorry, that's not what I wanted to say. I'm sort of looking at notes and it's distracting for what I'm saying. So I can say this from experience. Having my goals written down, you definitely end up having more, what's the word I'm looking for, Elise?
Like drive, more like ambition towards them.
Yeah, definitely that. But when you write things down, things tend to happen more when you write things down. And
I think.
Yeah, and when you've got your goals written down, and you think about the current network that you've got, so your network that you have right now, I'm 95% sure the network that you've got now is not big enough for you to achieve those goals that you've got. And that does, when I think back to when I first started in Sensi and what my goals were, I didn't even really think about goals at the time. It just happened so quick. But the network that you've got right now generally stems from your friends, your family, and, I don't know, friends from school, just people that you generally know. Your network needs to be bigger to achieve those goals that you've got written down, whether that's being, a star consultant or a director, or if you want to be a superstar director, whatever it is that you want to be, you need to have a bigger network than what you've got. And that's why what Lisa and I are going to bring to you, hopefully over the next few days, is really, really important about how to grow your network, because to achieve those goals, your network needs to be bigger than just your immediate family and friends and everything else. Also, a lot of networking comes down to trust and building relationships with people. So when you go to build relationships with people, you need to be thinking about not just what it can do for you, which I feel like when I think back to my journey at the beginning of Sensi, my first goal was to be director. That was what I wanted to be, director. I wasn't thinking about anybody else. I wasn't thinking about anyone in my team, what it could do for them. I wasn't thinking about my customers. I wasn't thinking about anyone else. I was thinking literally about myself. I was thinking about what it could do for me. And I'll never, ever forget a conversation with Lisa that I had the morning after I hit director. And I kind of said, I haven't got to do much now. I've hit director. Lisa was kind of like, obviously she didn't want to shut me down, but she was kind of a little bit like, well, this is kind of where it starts. And it was actually so true. My mindset changed a lot from before I hit director to after, based on a lot of training that I watched, based on a lot, YouTube, other people around me. It really changed my mindset from thinking what it can do for me to what it could also do for others around me. So the opportunity that you can give to other people, when you start thinking about not just what it can do for me, but what it can do for others, things change within your business. So for instance, recently my nail lady, she retired. So straight away I was thinking in my mind, okay, well, I can find a new nail lady. Straight away I do this with everyone, everything, whatever aspect of anything I'm doing in my life. Straight away I do think she could buy Sensi from me. She could join my team. So yes, I am thinking about that. Every single thing I do, that is what is in my mind. But I'm also thinking about what it can do for those people. So for instance, my nail lady, I've gone to her. She knows I sell Sensi. I haven't gone to her and told her I sell Sensi. Yes, I wore my Sensi jumper. Yes, my jumper said Sensi. So she knew I was a consultant. So without me telling her I was a consultant, my top says I'm a consultant. We had a Sensi conversation because we were talking about holidays, and I was supposed to be going to Colorado next week, and that came up in conversation. She quite gently let me know that she doesn't buy Sensi and that she buys wax melts from one of her customers who makes wax melts. Absolutely fine. I think what tends to happen when we have connections with people and then they tell you that they don't want to buy Sensi, it's very, very easy to shut off. It's very, very easy to think, oh, well, if you don't want to buy Sensi, then there's no point carrying on building this relationship. Where actually it's really important that you carry on building that relationship. So I now wouldn't come away from her and think, well, I'm not going to go back to her because she's not going to buy Scentsy from me, I'll go somewhere else. I'm going to stick with going to her, and she will end up getting a little bit of free wax so she can warm the wax and everything else. I'm going to build this relationship with her because I actually feel like she would be a really, really good consultant. She's got a ready-made business, she's got a ready-made clientele base. She's really chatty, she's lovely, she's a really nice person, and I think what it could do for her and how she could, really grow within Scentsy. And also, if every person has, there's actually been like case studies into this, every person has around 150 people in their lives that they can trust. And when I say trust, not necessarily like, to look after kids or dog sit your dog or anything like that. Obviously, those people are in there, but you've also then got people on Facebook that you could, if you put, I don't know how many of you do this, I do it all the time, but I ask what's the best Chinese in our area, or, where's the best Indian, those kind of things. When people comment on there, you're trusting the people that are commenting, whoever you're going to order from, you've trusted that person's opinion. So it's exactly the same within Scentsy. If someone says to you, oh, can anyone recommend a dentist? Can anyone recommend a builder? Can anyone recommend a paver? And any of those kind of things. When someone asks you to recommend, you wouldn't recommend someone if you didn't think they were any good. So if you wouldn't say to someone, oh, go to my dentist, like when you think he's rubbish. People refer people that they trust. I'm going somewhere with this. So 150, when people have 150 people in their circle, these 150 people from this one person. So for instance, my nail lady, she might not want to buy a Scentsy from me. She potentially has 150 people that could become my customers or my teammates through me building a relationship with her. Is my connection bad, Lise? It's just come up, my connection's unstable.
No, your connection's fine. Someone's just unmuted.
No, it's okay. Okay. So if I come away from her and didn't build this relationship with her, I'm potentially missing out on tapping into 150 people that, because I've built a relationship with her, that she would recommend me to. So it's really, really important. And I think as well, when a lot of the YouTube stuff that I watch, when they talk about other people giving you potential other people to talk to, a lot of them also can be in other countries as well. So one SSD that I know of, she's got a lot of she's got family all over the world, which obviously helps if you've got family all over the world. But her auntie, I think it was, doesn't buy from her, but she introduced her to someone in Australia that's now, in her team. And this is what I mean by 150 other people. So let's say you've got 10 people that you meet and necessarily don't want to buy a Scentsy. If you don't build relationships with those 10 people, you're potentially missing out on building relationship with their friends as well. Does that make sense? Yeah. So yeah, I kind of just, that's where I was sort of trying to go with that bit. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you want to go from there, Lise.
Do you want me to step in? Cool. So one of the things I want you to just think about now, and I want you to, can you hear me? Hold on. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. One of the things I want you to
think, can now, yeah.
In the chat, I want you to tell me how consistent you think you are on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being not very, and don't do it yet because you don't know what I'm going to ask, and 5 being really, 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 really good at trying to find new customers on a weekly basis. So, oh, we've got some 4s. Sorry to say 1. That's okay. I like honesty because after these 3 days, you're going to change that. Okay, so we've got a real mix there. If I'm honest, mine's probably sits around the 2.5. Some weeks I'm really good at it. Sorry if you hear that ding dong, by the way. It's every time someone walks past the front of my house. Hold on, let me just unplug it because it's going to drive me insane. 1 sec.
My consistency can literally be like from day to day, I could go from like 5 on one day to 0 the next, and then 5 the one day and 0 to next. Sometimes it can be very up and down, and then other times it can be like consistent 5, 5, 5, 5, 5.
Yeah, mine's exactly the same. Consistency is not my best trait, and I am really honest. I own that, and I come up with great ideas sometimes, and I put them into practice. So I think, oh yeah, I'm going to do that and find all these customers. And then what happens is I do it for like a week, have really good results, and then I just think, oh, I'll come back to that again in a few weeks' time. So what I want you to think about is one of the things that's going to impact your business for you finding new customers is the word consistency. And I know you hear it probably on every training, and sometimes you think, oh my God, if I hear that word consistency one more time, I'm literally going to leave the training because I'm so fed up of hearing that maybe I'm not consistent enough. But every single week, you should build in some time, whether it's 5 minutes or whether it's an hour. And I'm going to be taking a leaf out of my own book with this, because honestly, I do think this is where I'm at. Like, I had amazing results, which I shared with a lot of my team last month, where I put out these boxes, which were just like sample boxes on a page that I found. I had incredible results. Loads and loads of people said, oh yeah, like I'll have one. I think 30 in the end went out. And off the back of that, I've had probably 7 or 8 new customers. Have I done it again? No. So I need to basically be building that into my business every single week. If I'd have done that every single week and I found a new page to network and offer samples out on that level every single week, I would constantly be having new people coming into my business. Now, I had like 30 packs that went out. So I had 30 follow-ups to do, and I had all these people to talk to and remind that they had like a voucher to use and all sorts. So for me, I was like, I needed a little bit of time. It wasn't going to be something that I was going to do in the following week, because they took me ages to make up, as you can imagine. Loads of samples, loads of wax, but it was something definitely to build into my business once a month. I probably did a whole month's worth of networking in one day. So what I want you to think about is just building into your business, being a little bit more consistent. If you're completely inconsistent, like I have been this month, and I haven't actively gone out and looked for new customers, you're not going to get new customers. That's the bottom line of it. Without you actively looking for new customers, it's not going to happen. So it needs to be on the forefront of your mind. Set an alarm. Tan is like the alarm queen, or was. I don't know whether you're as much anymore, but definitely
I still am.
When she was working, she was the alarm queen. We would literally be in a room together, and alarms would literally be going off on her phone left, right and center, and I'm like, what's she's like, oh, it's just an old alarm, it's just an old alarm. And she's got alarms for everything, right? Alarms for everything. So if you struggle to build consistency into your business, set yourself an alarm that, I don't know, on Tuesday, you might know that you've got an hour to yourself. So you'll be like, right, on Tuesday, I'm going to spend 20 minutes networking. I'm going to spend 20 minutes literally getting consistent and building that consistency into your business. Because I can promise you, if you're not consistent, your customer base is not going to grow. How you've got to look at it is, and I look at it like this: if you're a consistent recruiter, and I will come back to recruiting because I know there's some people that are like, I can't recruit. This is going to help you. This training is going to help you. But if you're a consistent recruiter, how you've got to look at it is, hopefully you're recruiting your customers. So every time you recruit those 2 customers, let's say I recruit 2 of my best customers and they spend £150 with me a month, I need to find £150 worth of customers minimum. So that might be 4 or 5 customers, because technically they're really good customers. So I need to replace them. And that's how you've got to look at it. If you recruit all of your customers, you've got to spend that time building it back up again, because that's what this business is, a constant circle. So how it should work is, as Tan said, you build that trust, you build that relationship, they buy from you, you get them hooked to Scentsy, you then draw them in. Eventually you're going to have a join conversation with them at some time. At some point they're going to join your business, and then you've got to replace them because you've got to find new customers. When Tan joined my business, okay, when Tan joined my team, I hate that saying, but when she joined my team, because she did, I was like, all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, I sold to Tan's mum, Tan's sisters, all of her sisters. I was about to go, how many sisters have you got? And I sold to some of Tan's friends, some of Tan's network, And bear in mind that Tan had a launch party that I had to put in over 2 parties that come to your party that you did, was a party at your house. Was it about £1,200, your party that I did?
Yeah, it might have been a little bit more than that.
So if you can imagine, all of those people, okay, bought off of Tan. So when Tan started to sell Scentsy, I've now got to replace all of those customers. Not all of them bought Scentsy off me, but a good chunk of them had had a mystery bag or something. Claire was also one of my customers before Tan joined. So I had to replace 2 really good customers that both absolutely loved Scentsy. You can see where I'm going with this. So if you have to be consistent. You've got to be consistently growing that network, consistently replacing your customers that come in. Now, I'm going to talk to you about more things that not to do. Okay. So once you've, I did obviously put out on the message about the things that you can't build your business on. Now, for me, when I first started selling Scentsy, it was very much friends and family. That was where I started. And if you're brand new, that's where you need to start. I always remember Tan saying to somebody, do you have friends? Do you have a family? If you do, you can sell Scentsy. It literally is that simple. That's your starting point. So if you've got your friends and family, that's your starting point. They are what we call your warm network. They're going to be those people that you automatically are going to go to. They're going to make you feel comfortable, hopefully. Some of them might say no. My mum said no for a really long time. She's got a warmer now. She's got a few. She still doesn't really like the wax because she doesn't like smells, but she eventually said yes. My mum was a non-believer, and I put that out there. She was a non-believer for quite a while. But you're going to start with your friends and family, and then you're going to get to a point where realistically you need them to have parties so that you can feed into their networks. Exactly like Tan said, they all know 150 people. So you need to start tapping into their networks. So whether that's online partying, whether that's partying, whether that's, we're going to talk about all the things tomorrow that are going to be all the different ideas. Literally, we've got spider diagrams of ideas to chat through, of ways that you can actually tap into those networks. But ideally, you don't want your family to be the network that you're going to be asking to sell mystery bags to every single month for the next 10 years, because let's face it, that's not really a business. You don't want, eventually they will get to a point where they will say, look, I've supported you from the start just to get you going. Some people, yes, will carry on buying because they absolutely love it, and they will carry on buying, but some will just be supporting you from the start. And then once they eventually decide, oh, do you know what, I've done my bit, I've supported, I've done the bit, they step away. It's then up to you to replace them as customers. And you need to make sure that you don't need to badger your friends and family. Very little. If I go through my customer book now, and I'm sure Tan's the same, we've got a few hardcore family members, but generally speaking, most of them are people that I don't know, that I've been referred to, or that I've met at parties, or that I've met through like doing online bingo and all sorts, from all the different like networking tips.
Yes, so most of my customers now I didn't actually know before Scentsy, and that's obviously all down to referrals and networking basically.
And most of those now we would call as friends. Like I had stood on a doorstep with one of my customers today, and she messages me about how she's feeling and stuff like that. So someone's just said, I've lost customers because their friends have signed up, but that's natural. That's going to happen. And if you do, you've just got to, how you look at it is, it's the mindset, right? I need to replace that person. That happens. It does happen, and you can't prevent somebody from going elsewhere. Unfortunately, you don't own your customers, and that's about the customer service that you give, or and sometimes they're just going to go somewhere else. Even if you give them the best customer service and all the free Scentsy in the world, they're going to go elsewhere. It just happens sometimes. So things to not do. This is like my biggest, I'm going to go on a bit of a rant about this, but it's not personal to anyone. This is like my biggest bugbear, right? I get at least 5 messages a week minimum from other network marketing companies. I've had one this week where she messaged me, hi Han, oh, I was just looking at your profile. I think you would be absolutely amazing at selling a skincare product. I think you would be amazing. Would you like to some information on the opportunity? Okay, few things. First of all, that's called Spammer Pamela. If you've never heard me say that before on a training, you have now. Spammer Pamela is something you don't want to be. It basically means that you are inboxing somebody. It's like is it called solicited mail? Is that what it's called? Soliciting someone? Unsolicited. Is that what it's called? Thank you.
Yeah.
Unsolicited mail. You know, like when you get those things through your door that you didn't want. You get those text messages that you didn't sign up for. You got those emails for information that you forgot to tick that bloody box that says, I don't want any information in my inbox. And that's exactly what these people are doing. And you need to make sure if you're getting that, then you're a bit like, do you know, I try to very hard to turn them into sensey people quite often. And there's always a positive that can come out of it. But how I feel about that is that I feel a few things. I feel, number one, they've not built any relationship, any trust with me at all. Number two, they've clearly not gone and had a look at my profile. So they're not looking at it thinking, oh, she already sells a product. Actually, the girl this week sort of backtracked and was like, oh yeah, I was trying to see if you wanted a second opportunity. And I was like, not really. And you need to make sure that you're not that person that's just driving into people's inboxes, offering them free samples. You might feel that it's good intent because you're offering something that's free, but actually there needs to be conversations that go on beforehand. Think of it from the other point of view. If somebody inboxed you tomorrow and said they thought you would be amazing at selling Arbonne, for example, do you want to join? And actually you love sensing, you can see it's all over your page. Generally, you might feel the first time, oh, that's quite nice. Somebody thinks that I'd be good at that. But I can tell you, when they're inboxing you 10, 20, 30 times a day, you're going to be like, oh my God, that's quite annoying. So don't be that person. Okay. I think these people that do this give our business a really, really bad name. And network marketing, it's already hard enough. You guys know this. It's already hard enough to get out there and prove to people that we're a real gig, that we're a real deal, that actually it is a business, it's a family business, without having that, you know, someone thinking that you're spammy or saying, oh, that Sensei consultant was in my inbox. So just think about that. I mean, there are times when you can get a feel that you might be able to do that. For example, influencers that have got massive followings, you know, they probably get inboxes like that all the time, and then they pick and choose what they reply to. That's a little bit different. But somebody that's like a you or me, that's a mum, that's somebody normal, and you're inboxing, build a relationship with them first. Okay. Don't be Pamela. Okay. I want you to think about that all the time. Every time you go to inbox somebody that you think, I haven't had a conversation with this person for at least 6 months, then go and make an effort to actually speak to them about something else first. Go and, you know, look on their Facebook, go and see, you know, what their kids have done recently, comment on it. If they don't put anything on there,
go and comment on a few posts, kind of like, no, it's not to be fake, but go and comment on people's posts and actually take a real interest in people.
And that's what it all comes down to, that genuineness. Okay. And being like genuine and showing that authenticity is a core value of Senses. Okay. So that's what we're all about. Okay. Other things to not do. Try not to just sell all the time, because people are literally going to go, do you know what? I don't want to network with that person. I don't want to refer her. They're not going to trust you if it's just all about sales all the time. So try not to sell all the time. Share your life, share what you're doing, share what's going on within your life, share it on your stories. I love a story. I'm all over a story right now. I think most people are. I think stories are definitely just like right up there. I look at people's stories probably more than I go through their actual.
I do now.
And if I'm looking to message a customer and I haven't spoke to them for a while, I go and look at their story first, see if they've actually put anything on their story. That's the first place I look, and then put a few comments in. And did you know as well, if you actually go and comment on their profile, comment on their stories, and then you go and post in your customer group is more likely to actually come up in their newsfeed. So that's a good tip for actually networking with people. If you network how the social sites want you to, then you will show up more in their algorithms. And algorithms are a rat pain in the bum, unless you're on TikTok. And TikTok, if you put hashtag I did this the other night, but hashtag FYP, your nieces say to you, oh, we see you on the For You page this week. And I was like, oh, that was your daughters. They said that. And I was like, oh, did you? And I was like, I didn't even know what that was. I was just copying somebody else's hashtags. So they see it. Okay, so try not to get involved in Tanya in her mopping slippers. Yeah, I see that today as well. I actually thought I might buy myself a pair of those when my new kitchen's done. So I was like, oh, I think I need those. try not to be that person that basically is political. There are a few sensory consultants that I follow that I absolutely love what they do, but when they go off on a political rant about COVID or about wearing masks or about having the injection or about what's going on in the news at the moment, I literally just go, vroom, shut down, flick
Yeah.
this. I literally get their story and just go, yep, don't need to watch that. I don't then go and watch the rest of their stories. So if you can, that is a really great way to not network. Basically, if you want people to not watch what you're doing or not be engaged in what you're doing, then get involved in political stuff, get involved in drama, get involved in, you know, be that person. I know we're trying to be real, and I'm not saying don't show yourself, but if people are going to want to network with you and going to want to refer you and going to want to build that trust relationship, genuinely, they're probably not going to want to see negative Nancy. Sorry if your name's Nancy, but
Or if I look back, when my memories pop up, when I look back, some of my statuses, I cringe so bad. I think, oh my God, did I actually write that? Yeah, it's bad.
Or I'd say, Tan, sit on your hands, sit on your hands. But how you've evolved,
Yeah, exactly.
School run. I used to, it was your school run status is just,
Yeah.
That's good. Thanks Facebook memories for like giving us moments where we go, did I really post that? I do look back at that, and sometimes I look back at 10 years ago and I see, or 8 years, however long I've been on Facebook. Is it really? It must probably is 10 years. And it says things like Lisa Allwood is getting a drink of orange, and I think, who wanted to know that? Who wanted to know that? Who wanted
Do you know what else I've got? I swear a lot. Like in my life, I swear a lot, and I used to swear all the time on my Facebook. A lot of my memories that come up, there's swearing, there's F-bombs dropped all over the place. So I wouldn't do that now.
And a few others.
Don't know what you mean.
Oh dear. So yeah. With obviously your marketing, you're going to be marketing yourself. So in terms of networking, for people to know, like, and trust you, because that is really important, to know, to like, to trust. They're 3 words. Write them down, get them written somewhere, and be like, right, how do I get people to know me, first of all? And it's simple. You need to show who you are. Show who you are on social media without dropping too many F-bombs. You know, if you're a sweary person, fair enough, swear away. But, you know, keep it sweary within something that's actually going to be entertaining, as opposed to like having a swear fest about I don't know, whatever's going on in the news at the moment. So be genuine, because people genuinely, they want to see who you are, they want to get to know who you are, because I promise you, the minute they know who you are, like for example, I have some of my customers that tag me now in Wagamama posts, and off the back of that, I've had their then friends have then gone, oh, I love Wagamamas, and then they'll go, and then she'll be like, oh, I'll add you to Lisa's Sensi group, and then before you know it, you've ended up with 3 new people that have got a common interest like you in your Sensi group. It does happen if you have those type of customers, and I'm really lucky that I've got a couple of amazing customers that literally they pimp me everywhere. They put me on their groups, they put me on like one of them lives on, if any of you are lots of you are from Canvey, but she lives on Kings on Canvey, and she puts me on their Kings page all the time, and I don't ask her to do that. She does that completely off her own back. And I think when you're getting your customers that are doing that, and when your customers are tagging you in things that they actually, you know, they refer and they think of when they think of you, it goes to show that you've built up a relationship with someone, and that is going to help build your network. Okay, think about this. First impressions are going to count. Imagine you get referral to somebody and suddenly they come onto your social media and see you ranting about the local news and something that's gone on, that, you know, first impressions count. And ideally you want people to be referring you because of, one, who you are, but most importantly, because they're going to, hopefully at some point, they're going to become a teamie, or they're going to become a customer. So think about that. Okay, this one, don't lie. This is a really bad way to network. Don't lie. Don't put things out there that aren't true. You know, like me sharing with my whole Scent Squad yesterday morning about how my washing situation, I would never tell people that I've got like a perfect house, perfect tidy place everywhere, because It's not like that. And you know, that's the same with not lying about your Scentsy business. You know, build those trusting relationships. You can see it's coming back to trust every single time. Every time, everything I'm saying, all the how not to network, it literally comes back to building trust, because you're building relationships with people. There was something else that I had to add to that, and my brain has gone.
I just want to say, from my notes, half of what I wanted to say I didn't actually get out. So tomorrow night I'm not writing notes. Not writing notes because I'm not good with notes.
You
are. I'm not. I'm like that. Notes, no notes.
Just quickly, are you two related, Lisa and Tanya?
Yeah, not by blood. We're both married to brothers, Allwood brothers. So Lisa, me and Lisa are sister-in-laws.
Oh, I wondered. I thought that's a bit of a coincidence.
Yeah, no, we've Lisa's married to Michael. I'm married to Matt, and they're brothers.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say like we're really alike or something. I was like, well, we do roll off one another quite well, to be fair.
Except pink pops as well.
Hopefully we're giving you some thoughts of why it's important to network, and we have actually given you, believe it or not, already like some nuggets there. Like hopefully you've heard like a word: refer. I think I can't tell you how many times I've probably said that. I would say if there was a word that was going to be like the secret word of tonight, I think refer comes out in there so much, because that's what you want your customers to be doing. As I say, tomorrow night we're actually going to get into the nitty gritty of, I think just because of where we are on time, I might just touch on referrals, because we're going to talk about it tomorrow night anyway. But my probably biggest, or one of my biggest ways of actually networking is through asking for referrals. So all I hear when I ask for referrals is I've already got a consultant. Okay, so is that from Debbie? You're getting that from your own customers? Because I only ask my customers for referrals. So okay, so you need to think, if that's not a problem, then you've got to think outside the box. If that's what you're getting from every single one of your customers, then it's let's go the next way. And tomorrow night will help you massively.
We'll go different ways of how to, outside of friends, family, and current customers.
Yeah. I massively use my actual current customers, and I probably go to the same 5 customers that I know they're my best customers. They're the ones that you want to join, that always say no, because generally you're looking at them going, they've got a network. Like they're a hairdresser and she knows loads of people, and she keeps saying to me, oh, my friend would like a catalogue. And actually they still say no every time you ask them to join. So in that case, you need to say to them, look, okay, you don't want to join, not a problem, but help me out. Have you got some friends that would maybe like some, a sample pack, or would maybe like, and I like to remind people about, it's not just the UK. I think people get really caught up with the fact that we live in Essex, or you live in Durham, or wherever you are. So they literally think that you think, oh, it's just people that are around here. But actually, your network's huge. It could literally go on to Europe. It could go to America. It could go, probably some of your customers probably don't even realize that they could, if they've got family in New Zealand, or in Australia, they probably don't even realize that they could refer you to them. They've probably got no idea whatsoever. And I wonder how many of you have actually had those conversations with your customers, or maybe posted that in your customer group.
I was just going to say that in the customer group.
Yeah, post a poll in your customer group. How many of you have done this and said, how many of you, who's got friends and family in these areas? And you could list all the places that you can sell Scentsy to in your customer group. There's a little map somewhere. I know it's pinned to the top of Claire's group. I'm sure it is. And I don't think I've got it pinned in my group. There's a map that basically shows all the regions that you can sponsor, all the regions that you can recruit in. And my customer group, love a poll. And actually, if somebody then ticks the little box to say, oh, I've got friends that are in Spain, inbox them and be like, oh, hey, I can see you've got friends in Spain. Do you think they'd like some Scentsy samples? Do you think they'd like to?
This is tapping into their potential 150.
Yeah, it's a case of actually asking for a referral, but not asking for a referral. don't actually ask for a referral. Give them, you know, I put, I'll talk about this more tomorrow night, but I put something in my borrow bag that basically says, send my borrow bag somewhere else and get some free wax. And most 90% of the time, my borrow bag doesn't come back to me because it will be given to someone else because they go, oh, I just want a freebie. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. That's what it's all about. And that's what it's all about. My family are not interested in what I do, which knocks my confidence. Okay, like coming on to this is like one of the things with networking is you've got to go for the no. And I know these are things that you're hearing all the time. It doesn't matter whether you get told no, even if it's your family. Let me tell you about my mum, right? And she'll kill me putting this on YouTube because it will go on YouTube. So when I joined, my mum was like, oh, just ride the wave with it for a little while. Just ride the wave. Now, I was a teacher and I had a good job. I had good income, really good income. But I didn't really want to do it. Didn't really want to do that anymore. I wanted to earn more money. And I kept saying, I'm going to do this and I'm going to have a go. And she was like, she's like, it's just one of them one of them pyramid things. Where's Claire's face? Kept saying, it's just one of them pyramid things. It's just one of them sales things. And she said it. She was really open and honest with me. And I was like, all right, mum. And then when I was really excited and I took all the smells around, she was like, I don't like any of them. And I was like, oh, okay. And my mum's supporting in everything I do. Trust me, right? Everything I do. But she was like, no, I don't like any of them. And it took me ages. And when I told her, I remember telling her that I was thinking about leaving my job to do Sensi. Oh, she was like, no, I don't think you should do that. I think it would be mental. Obviously, she didn't know how much I was earning at the time. She didn't have a clue like how busy the business was. And then I was earning incentives. And then I was in like the top 100. And all of a sudden, she became a bit of a believer. And then I actually just bought her a warmer and I put a warmer in her house with some wax. We found one that she liked out of all of them. And I put it in her house. And actually, then all of a sudden, when she realized how well I was doing, all of a sudden it was like, oh, Lise, so-and-so's friend is thinking about joining. Could you have a conversation with her? I was literally, my mouth fell to the floor. And it took probably nearly a year for my mum to become a believer. It took nearly a year of showing her that I was working it consistently. I wasn't going to give up. It wasn't just about riding the wave. It wasn't just about a phase that I was going through. It wasn't just about getting over the grief that I was going through in my life. This was here to stay, whether she liked it or not. And even if she didn't want to support it, it didn't matter. I was still going to do it. And even if she said to me, I don't think it's a very good idea, I was like, I don't care. I'm an adult. I'm going to make my own mistakes. And I remember having that conversation with her. And I think I remember saying to her, Mum, it's fine. If you don't want to believe it, it's absolutely fine. Obviously, she does my bookkeeping now. She refers me left, right, and centre to people. She must talk about it in some way, shape, or form to her friends, because one of her friends keeps sending people that might want to join, her brother and her brother's son, her daughter. So the support has come, but it's taken time. It hasn't been something that happened overnight. So if you've got
I've got something similar with my dad. So my dad's very, very like, oh, that's great, but there's always a that's great, but. So like last year when so I hit star director and superstar director month after. So I hit star director in the May, superstar director in the June. And at the time I gave my job up where I worked with my dad. So my dad was a little bit like, she's given her job up where she's been for 15 years. Like, don't you think that's a little bit risky? Then when I hit promotions and he was asking me about what I'd earned, and I said, he was like, oh, that's great, it's really good, but remember, it might not stay like this. Yeah, Dad, I know. Yeah, Dad, I know. And then obviously gradually, as the years gone by now, obviously it's been nearly a year, he now actually when he gets new clients, he buys them Sensi to give to them to refer people on to me. Whereas before he was very much like, oh, I don't know if it's like any good. I don't know if is it going to be around to stay? Whereas now he's, he talks not me up, but he talks it up to people that he sees, because I think he's realised actually that he's something quite special.
I think as well, like hearing us both say that, guys, like don't be disheartened by the whole like family not supporting. If your family are not supporting you, not a problem. Go to the next step. Be like, right, friends. If then they don't support you, you're like, right, okay, friends to one side, family to the other. Don't use that as like, I can't do this. Be like, right, I'm going to prove you wrong. Watch me do it. And then set to work, you know. And again, I don't want to give away all the things we're going to talk about. I could literally list all the things to do, but we're going to talk about them tomorrow night. Come back tomorrow night, and literally we are going to give you a list of places that you can go, people that you can talk to, ideas of where you can meet other people. But go for those no's, but don't be disheartened, and don't be like, anybody judge you. Don't let anybody say, well, why are you doing that? Well, because I want to. What business is it of yours? Do you pay my bills? Do you put food on my table? For a really long time, my husband didn't believe, honestly, trying to tell you, he thought it was a load of old rubbish, and he thought it was a phase. And as time's gone on, well, he's become more of a believer. It took an incentive trip for him to become a believer. And now, again, the same as Tan, he went to, when it was Mother's Day, I basically said to him, look, you've got all these men on site, help me out a bit here. And he was like, okay. And he sold £400 worth of Mother's Day boxes on Mother's Day. And I was like, look at you selling all them boxes. And he was like, oh, shut up. And he still goes, oh, it's a load of old crap. And I was like, no, it's not. And he says, and he knows it's not. It's just him he just jokes. And any of you that know,
just being Michael being Michael.
Yeah. But he wasn't a believer. But now he's pimping my Scentsy goodies out to all sorts of people. And he's doing the recruiting. I've heard him even have conversations with people saying, look, oh, your missus should join this. Look at, my missus is doing really well with it. I've heard him on the phone, and I'm like, get him. He thinks I'm I hear him. So sometimes it's going to take time to, those friends and family aren't always going to be the starting point for your network. So something to maybe think about doing tonight before you go to bed. If you've never done a list of 100, this is the time to go and do it, right? Go and write down all the people that you could sell to. Now, there are some people out there that are like, don't do a list of 100. It's really old school. I still go back to my list of 100 all the time, and I've shown this on quite a few trainings. Actually, I don't even know if it's in this one or whether it's in my other one. But where I've been with Scentsy quite a long time now, I have got quite a lot of contacts that are on, it's not in this one, that are on, hold on, might be here. I've got quite a lot of contacts on my workstation where I go in and I basically put down, I don't do it anymore as much. I used to put everyone's details in. I used to put their names, their numbers, all sorts in workstation. I don't really do that as much anymore. And then when, for example, we were having flash sales or we were having sales, people register for your website and their contact details will save on your workstation. So what I went and did was I went onto my contacts list and I just printed out the whole lot that was in workstation. I went back to my customer order books and all my order forms. I've actually got that folder there. No, that one. I'm not going to get it out because they will literally go everywhere. Actually, I will. This folder, that is all order forms. There's order forms in there. Now they are all on my list of 100. They're all set into like person who ordered. So each one has got a Polly Pocket for the person that ordered. They are in my list of 100 and I write them down and I update my list of 100. I do it on an Excel spreadsheet because it's just easy. Some people have it on their phone in notes. Some people just have a handwritten list because that's how they work. Whatever they want to do, they literally have it written down. But even get yourself a notebook. Good old Amazon, let's got my name on it. Love it. Get yourself a notebook that's literally just for your list of 100 and write every single person down that you could sell to. And then I want you to think about all the people that they know. Start thinking about their 150 that Tan said about. So their mums, their sisters, their aunts. And just set about connecting with those people. You don't need to message them all because we're not going to be spammers messaging saying, do you want Scentsy samples? Go and make connections with them on Facebook. Literally set to work 10 of them a day. Really, really easy. 10 of them a day. Just go and comment on their Facebook. Pop them a message asking how they are, what they've been up to, whether they've had a nice half term, whether they've had a nice weekend, did they have a nice barbecue, did they have a nice birthday? That's your starting point. That's your starting point. And if you've never written down people that you need to do it. You need to do it.
Definitely. Zoe commented in the chat earlier about commenting on people's stories. It's a really, really good way of building relationships, because you're automatically on a one-to-one basis. By commenting on people's stories, you are then on a one-to-one basis of talking with that person.
Yeah, even if you just put love this, or I tend to try and ask a question if I'm going to comment on stories or on someone's Facebook. I will tend, rather than just writing, oh, I love this, I will tend to actually try and ask a question, because when you've written a question, they've got to, hopefully they're going to answer the question if they're not rude. Do you add each person as a friend when they are in your group? As in customers, all of my customers, I've got every single one of my customers as a friend on Facebook if they're on Facebook.
I haven't, and that's not because I would just say a lot of them have been added into my group by other people. If they add me as a friend, I'm happy to accept them as a friend. I'm not bothered by that. But my customers, I kind of really generally connect with mainly in my group rather than on my. I have got a load of friends on my Facebook that are my customers, but I have got some that don't. So a bit of a mix.
See, I'm the opposite, and I make sure that I add them as a friend on Facebook. They can't get away from me. This is why they're going to see me everywhere. They add me as a friend on Facebook, because then they can see my stories that are linked from Instagram to Facebook. So it means they're getting sensory overload there. I also try and get them to follow me on Instagram, because I try and put different content on my Instagram. And I obviously add them in my customer group. I also get their phone number. So I've got them on WhatsApp, because my biggest worry is one day that Mr. Facebook, I can't remember his name. What's his name?
Mark.
Yeah, like a thingy Berg, whatever his name is. You know what I mean?
Zuckerberg,
or whatever his name is. One day he said, Facebook, I'm going to sell it, and he sells it to somebody and it disappears, and then we don't have it. If you woke up tomorrow and Facebook was deleted, could you still run your Scentsy business? If the answer is no, then you need to really, this is where you need to start. You need to have a way of contacting your customers. You need to have a way of networking. You need to have a way of, building those relationships that's not on social media. If suddenly the world's internet went down and we've got no internet, very unlikely. But if that happened for a week, could you still run your Scentsy business? I know I still could. And I could do that comfortably without my customer group, and I could still get sales, and I could.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I do my customer group, but I also have my WhatsApp group as well. So I've got my customer broadcast. So I do get my customers' numbers, even if I'm not friends with them on Facebook.
Yeah, I like to add them on Facebook.
That's a good idea, though.
I'm quite nosy, and I will show you tomorrow something. I've set up a list on Facebook, so you can have just your customers in that list, and it means that I see just their news feeds. So it's really easy to just go and comment on all my customers and go and interact on all of their news feeds. It literally takes me 10 minutes, and I can do it really, really quickly, and it's just super easy. So that works really, really well. So if you haven't done a list of 100, go and do it. Go and actually write all your lists down. Should I give a bit of a insight in what we're going to talk about tomorrow? Just a little bit.
Little teaser.
So some of the things that we're going to talk about tomorrow, I'm just going to tell you what was on the list. I'm not going to go into any of them. So we're going to be talking about things. So these are like the ways that we network. So we're going to be looking at some games. We're going to be talking about stories, although we talked about that a bit tonight. We're going to be talking about how the referral program and how you can actually create one, what it looks like. A bits about sample packs, monthly draws, affiliates, partying online and offline. We've actually got quite a lot to cover tomorrow. Friendship Fridays, getting people to share you on social medias, looking at influencers, all sorts, discounts, hairdressers, you name it. We've literally got a list as long as your arm. And these are all things that people that you can connect with outside, like on a one-to-one basis and within your groups and all sorts. Is that 100 new customers or new and old? What do you mean?
Yeah, it can be new. It can be new customers. Yeah. Your list of 100 are your customers that you sell to now, and potential people that you would like to sell to, potential people that you think could be a teamie. Just 100 people. Not everybody has got 100 people that they can write down. It doesn't mean you have to have exactly 100. Just write a list of people.
Yeah, if your list is 34 to start with, then that's your starting number. You start with 34. You aim to have it to 37 by the end of the month. And then next month, goals, like Tan said, you're going to aim to get it to 40 by the end of the month, and so on. These are like goals that you should be setting yourself to build that base up. Because then if somebody decides they're not going to buy from you anymore, they're going to buy from their friend. I've had 2 customers this month who've said, oh, my daughter's joined Scentsy. And I'm like, oh my God. Both joined within, funnily enough, within my downline. And they're 2 of my best customers. So, you know, I've got to replace them. That is what it is. But it's, you know, that's not a problem. I didn't have a relationship with their daughter. I had a relationship with their mum. So, you know, these things do happen. So tomorrow night, same time, 8:30, we will be here, and we are literally going to be covering all the ins and outs of these networking ideas that we've got.
And just how we network doing those things. That's what we're going to try and cover tomorrow night.
Okay. Feel free to share with your teams. What I will do is when this has finished recording and it's downloaded, I will share with all the SSDs, and they can pop it in all of your team groups. So if any of your team has missed it, they can catch up on it. I won't send it out by email because I think it'll be too long. I think it'll be too chunky. I was going to do that, but if we put it in our groups, that'll work. So if you've got any questions, we can try and come back to you. But if you've got any questions, then feel free to inbox us and we'll answer them. But hopefully this has been a good introduction to networking. Cool. Right. Hold on, I'm going to take a picture.
Thanks for copying on everybody.
Because obviously this is the first time we've done something, just us 2. Smile. Love it. Right, people. Oh, look at all the mess in front of my desk. I'll make that look pretty. Anyway, right. Speak to you all later, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.